Hello, hello, hello. Everything is going wrong. Okay, hi. It's me. What the heck is up, everybody? Striker, Black Mage, Novacore, and the Banana Man. What the heck is up? It's me, Gunchpot, back at it again. Sorry for that, not only late start, but long opening. Um, I knew that I was streaming tonight. I couldn't remember what time, and I just got back from the hospital like an hour ago. I'm fine, but I need to get all my stuff together, and I totally forgot to. So I got everything prepped within the last 5 minutes before stream, and then the last 4 minutes as stream was getting started. So I'm a little behind, but I'm fine. Everything's good. We're in it, and I'm ready to do this. So let me get into streamer mode. Hi, I'm Gunchpot, what we're doing today is Behind the Balls, which is my little behind the scenes show where I talk about Dragonball Classic Abridged and all of the things that go into making it while I am making it. And we're going to break down the project files mostly. This is where I'm just going to be going through the entire timeline in Premiere, breaking down some effects, answering questions from the chat, and just talking about the show. So, without further ado, I'm actually not going live on TikTok this time, but I am live on Twitch and YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, what the heck is up? That being said, let's go over to this screen where we'll be capturing my display, which is this one. Yeah, first try. Okay. So let me pull the chat back up. 666. Okay. To respond, you feel like it would be funny to get Girin with Jiren. That would be funny, but it would be an ungodly amount of work. All right. I don't know where the best place to put my camera is. I think here is fine. I'm just gonna make myself a little bit smaller. So here's the timeline. This is what we're working with at the start. Of course, straight out the gate here. We are doing the Seed of Might footage. In episode 1, I was using these blue box footage, and it was recommended to me by multiple people that I should start using the Seed of Might. So I did. You really didn't want Roshi in this episode. It's not that I didn't want Roshi in this episode. It's just that I wanted to give each of these like first few episodes enough time to breathe, because you're meeting a lot of characters. And though I could have probably made episodes 2 and 3 of the anime episode 2 of this show, I think that I have enough to have them each be their own thing. But I am very excited for Roshi. The Seed of Might, you might want to call Turles about that. The Tree of Might. But I do think that that just giving Roshi the time to shine in episode 3 and not overdoing it with Turtle is going to be good. That being said, we have some edits right here in the beginning. So this shot of Goku on the back of the bike, pretty standard lip flap replacement, but as we get to this immediately is a wait, if Mai likes dogs, yeah. This is just like a small edit. The shadow was really bright, like the same orange as the background, which is to some degree looked okay. Like that's just what the original footage looks like. Let me see if I can't find it in my After Effects comp. Nope. I didn't label these. I never label After Effects stuff because I am a moron. But we'll get to these eventually. Is it not in here at all? It has to be. I think this is it. Yeah, so this is the original. It's not that crazy. But I figure just darkening that shadow a little bit just makes it look a little bit more natural. I did a take on it where it was like straight up black, but that looked a little too dark for me, so we made a happy medium. Bro, Dragonball Abridged is a masterpiece. Thank you. I know that there's still things that we can do better, but hey, we're just starting out. We're just getting going, but I'm having a lot of fun making it. I hope that you guys are having fun watching it. You're gonna tell Kai, no. Well, seriously, don't. Just more lip flaps on Goku there. Same shot, duplicated. Here we have first like big visual edit of the episode, which is just this Bulma eye redraw. I didn't actually notice, but one of the frames here, it looks like one of her hair strands is covering her eyebrow that I had painted out. Maybe that's just an animation error. I actually think that might be in the original, but I didn't catch it. Yeah, that is in the original footage, and I didn't catch it. Weird. There's some stuff like that that I did catch that I corrected, but that one I just didn't for some reason. I understand you're gonna get there. I think so too. Hell yeah, I appreciate you coming in. You ain't even noticed that change, really seamless. Yeah, it really wasn't a lot, but I think it just helped a little bit. It was a little jarring. But then we have, yeah, just the droopy eyes, which was a pretty simple redraw, and the hardest part actually was just matching the shadow on her face and getting the tracking on it, which this whole face plate is pretty noticeable, but hey, I think it came out all right. Dragonball Abridged Kai final chapters win. There's a couple of teams that are working on Boo Saga stuff. I don't feel like I need to tackle the Boo Saga. And then just in the same vein, very similar edit. Her eyes are completely shut. We had to do lip flaps for Goku. This is a pretty messy edit. If we zoom in here, you can kind of see the edges of the mask, and obviously the eyes don't match the brush strokes of the actual anime because I don't have any brush strokes that match, or I don't have any brushes in Photoshop that match. But for like a really shitty visual gag, I think that it plays. She's driving with her eyes closed. She's asleep. She fell asleep while she was driving. Then we have our intro, which is still not the Seed of Might footage. This is the blue box opening sequence footage, and I don't plan to make any changes. So here, Bulma was talking the entire time. So I just had to completely replace Bulma's mouth as the camera pans up here. Really simple panning, tracking shot, and then I had to make Goku start speaking earlier than what he does. Spacers. Been waiting for someone to abridge this series for years. Thank you. Dude, yeah, thank you so much. Hold on, I want to double check because the stream. Wait, fucking what? Sorry, $10? Dude, thank you. You did not have to do all that, but I appreciate it very, very greatly. You just got to see all my tabs. Again, I started this in a hurry. Spacers, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's the music that I've been doing for the pre-stream. Pre-stream can still get you pregnant, by the way. I had to make Goku start talking early. This is a full mouth replacement. This is just what she looks like. This is the face that Bulma makes for this shot. We'll definitely be keeping up the grind. I super appreciate it. And again, as I've said, we're going to continue to get better. I know that there's kind of an expectation post TFS that anything that comes after them, even though this project is not connected to them at all, it's not a prequel to DBCA, that there's going to be an expectation of quality. And though we are just starting out, my hope is to hit that quality and hit that expectation. I am fully also aware that we're not there yet, and we will get there for sure. But it takes time to get into the groove. And though I've been working with video and editing and the like for a very long time, this is my first project of this scale and this style and tone and all of that. So it's a learning experience, and I'm having a blast figuring it out. Then I replaced Bulma's closed mouth with this sad closed mouth. And then we did just these lip flaps that I stole from another scene. Pretty simple. They don't really match, as you can see. I really don't like this O shape, but I needed the O shape. And I didn't match the color perfectly, but Adobe's color tools are really bad. TFS started out rocky. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that folks gotta remember, is their first season, I'd say, was kind of rough, and it picked up the pace eventually. And those guys are just like funny, and I think that's what held up the show in the beginning, is that they're just really funny. And so even though the quality of the edits and the quality of the writing wasn't great, like, they were just very funny. And I'm hoping to get there. We're definitely gonna get there. I feel like Dragonball Abridged will just be as revolutionary. I hope so. This is another standard edit. Actually, this is Goku's not speaking here. See if I can't adjust the footage. Oh, he is speaking here, but I need him to stop speaking at a certain point. So I cover up his talk, just mask him out of the right side of the frame. And then we have Bulma going. This one was fun. So the original footage here is all of the capsules are color coordinated, but the actual like gray of the capsule themselves are all also color coded, and they're not supposed to look like that. So this was a pretty simple. I just had to mask out all of them and mask out Bulma's hand going over the top of them, and then they look like the capsules that we all know and love. I'm super excited to see more of this series. Me too. I'm really excited. I'm actually recording with Roshi tomorrow. First recording session that I'm doing with our Roshi actor, and I'm very, very pumped. So, just for the consistency, we had to fix that edit up. Just a couple lip flaps here while she's throwing up the capsule. Get her off the bike. Goku running. And then this is the big one of the episode, I'd say. You got to learn how to use Premiere. I mean, as a lifelong Premiere user, somebody of 15 years using Premiere now, Rioter, thank you for the subscribe on YouTube as well. I would recommend DaVinci. I would love to use DaVinci. I'm so jealous of all the people that use DaVinci Resolve, and they're having so much fun. Learn and figure out what that program can do, and I'm just over here like, yeah, I learned a language, and I can't learn another one. I feel like most of the reason old TFS still holds up is because it's old. Yeah, I agree. It was a different time. It was a different time for sure, just in the internet in general. Roshi is going to be so good. So I add in this little blink, which is from a different scene, I think. But I just needed her eyes closed. And then we have the full lip replacement, which then transitions into Goku gets exploded, which this is the same shot from the beginning of the episode when he jumps off of the bike. But I just wanted a little bit of motion in there so you can see Goku kind of knees bent. He stands up and then just whoosh, which I think is really fun. I did have to paint him out of this shot because Goku is standing right here. Like this is where Bulma is. This is where Goku is. Goku has a shadow just like Bulma. So I had to paint out that shot in standstill. You can definitely tell, but with all the motion blur and camera shake that I threw on top of it, it helps cover that up a little bit. And then this shot, I didn't edit at all because I really didn't want to. Where's the edit here? This is not my normal. There we go. This is just the shot, but punched way in as to hide Goku, who is standing right next to Bulma. Because painting him out of this shot with all of the motion and having, I would basically have to like reframe the entire explosion loop, and that was really hard. that seemed like a lot of work when just a classic zoom in worked just fine. Same shot, same type of deal. Bulma lip flaps, and we just have her walking up to the house. Or this is just a freeze frame of this with a little bit of added noise on it because she's not walking up to the house as she is here. We have her doing this. I actually did just flip this footage to match with the way that she's standing. This shot is usually this way, but now it's this way because I have her standing like this because it looked better than having her on the door, but the original shot, she is facing the other way, basically. This is just a Photoshop edit. I painted the cracks in the ground and I put Goku down there and I painted out Bulma, or I cut out Bulma, flipped her, replaced the background, which I'd say it's a pretty clean background replacement because she was standing over the door, but just with like the sharpness of her outline, it was a lot, funnily enough, it looked a lot stranger having her on this side than on this side. So choices were made, and Goku's in the floor, which I think is really funny. I can't open Photoshop right now because it's updating, so I can't show you the Photoshop, but I'm a big fan of Goku sticking out of the floor. Just a lip flap there. 2 hours later, I moved this the last time. This is the SpongeBob gag. Everybody knows the SpongeBob gag. This was a fun lip flap because Goku's mouth is just open this entire time. So I had to go in and make it look like his mouth was closed instead of open. So this is just a closed mouth flap every time he's not talking. So that's fun. I didn't even realize they're being in different position. Those are those small details. And I wouldn't expect anybody who hasn't seen the show like really recently to notice any of those things. Classic lip flap. A lot of lip flaps. A big tip from Kai, who does the Dragon Ball Super Abridged, is playing more in just the same shot back and forth. And I tried to put that to use a little bit, where I use like this shot of Goku and this shot of Bulma a handful of times instead of using different shots of them, just to keep up a certain pace and not confuse the viewer. Not that I think that you guys are dumb and you need to have your hand held and you can't handle multiple shots, but I think it does work and it feels more abridged, you know? It feels more like what an abridged show is, just like cutting back to the same shot over and over again. But speaking of, we have Goku bumping into the TV. It turns on, and it starts playing Dragon Ball. This was a really fun edit. Let's go back to that in the After Effects comp. Yes, so obviously the original shot, he's just got this guy on the TV. Which layers which? I'm really bad about labeling things. Let's turn that on, or turn this off. There we go. So this is the original shot. I like a fourth wall break too. I think it's funny. And it's like, it's just meant to be a gag. It doesn't have really any bearing on the story, maybe. But we have the little reflections on the TV that I put in there, and I had to cut out Goku's face a couple of times, paste it back on. So it looks like he's on the TV, which the Dragon Ball footage, I had to put a little bit of grain on as well, just so that it blends in with the rest of the thing. Pretty easy though. Just had to rotoscope Goku and put the image behind the TV, add the glare back on top, and bing bang boom, you have the shot of Goku looking at the TV. Which that is the Seed of Might footage intro. I played with it is our version of the theme song that's playing underneath, but it is the Seed of Might footage that's playing on top. I don't think that really means anything on a narrative level, but I watched episode 3 of the anime before the release so I can catch all the minor changes. I think that's a good idea. I recommend everybody watch the original show alongside Abridged. Because the original show is awesome. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. The VHS effect. I didn't renew my subscription for the plugins, so it might be wonky. But there's another just pausing effect. I just use a VHS preset. Sound effects, the like. This was a big edit. Goku inside the house with the thing. This is actually a pain in the ass to cut out because Goku is wearing blue, the coyote is blue, his hair is really dark, and he's against a dark blue background in the original shot. So this was a lot of manual labor and trial and error to get this to look as clean as it does, and there's still parts that you can see here that are not super clean, but I'm working with what I got, and then I just had to boost his contrast a little bit. And this is actually the exact same shot as when Bulma is standing in the doorway, just hyper zoomed in. So that's this shot, but again, really close up. Well, skip too far ahead. Yeah, which is fun. We're using the tools that we are given. We have really simple lip flap. I actually really liked this Bulma covering her face because I could just use like a couple of frames and loop them. It's a lot of easy. It's easy there. And we have Goku talking again, and then him rotating, and same story with before, which this looks a little messy just due to the quality that I'm streaming to you. Because if I'm doing full quality, it will explode my computer. I just had to make his mouth close because he doesn't actually speak here. He just keeps his mouth agape. And then we cut to here and back at it again. So now we get into the bathtub sequence. So this is... I'm not going to take away this layer because taking away this layer takes away the towel. Because Goku is holding the towel like this, and then he goes like this, and or he's like confused. He's like looking at the towel, but then he puts it over his face instead of his pants, his under area. So I'm not gonna risk the YouTube, but basically I just looped a couple of frames of Goku holding the towel like this, and then cut out that side of the frame, overlaid it, and now we have Goku covering himself. And of course, same story here. This shot is just way punched in because I don't want to. I do have like our little Shenrong mascot who I've been using as the censor, but I don't want to overuse it. I feel like it could get overplayed just censoring Goku's dong. So for our purposes here, I just zoomed in, and I really like this shot.
You did shoot me in the face.
I just think it's funny. Not to hype myself up, but I think that's a pretty good delivery. Oh my god, am I interested in cheap views? No. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, this one was also really fun. And I'm not Kira Toriyama. I'm not the greatest artist in the world, but I do think that that how shitty these eyes look kind of helps sell the effect. But this was really simple. I just drew the eyes and I kind of tracked them along with the movement. They're really bobbly. They don't really actually mesh with the rotation of his head at all. But I also think that there's a little bit of charm to it. And I do the same thing down here, which is a lot simpler because his head's not moving at all. We have that. Boom. Some simple camera shakes here just to sell the impact. And then we have the sensor because there was I just couldn't cut. I couldn't cut around this shot. I just couldn't. If I zoomed in, I think I maybe even do zoom in on it really deep later. Spacers, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it. You've transitioned from one service to the other. Okay, I do. So I punch in this shot too, just so I'm not, again, just not hard showing Goku's hog. We have the little pause bit, some lip flaps. This is the Luffy hat bit, which you can see I had to redraw the top of his head. He looks really, really doofy. And somewhere along the lines, the hat layer went missing or got moved around. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Premiere lost it, and you know what? There's nothing that can be done. But this is what Goku looks like without the hat on. It wasn't my job to try to do this clean because it was being covered by the hat the entire time. But it is really, really goofy looking. I might have even put too much effort in trying to get these lines to look right, but it's fine. Again, it's fine. Just the little sensor because it just peeks out there a little bit. The insane hat hair. He's got the Fozzie Bear head. And we have Bulma in the tub. Nothing really special going on here. This is all pretty clear, especially because this is all internal dialogue from her. A punch in from Goku just because this is the same shot. I wanted to convey the bit better. Let's go to bunch of lip flaps. Hat on again. Premiere seems to know where the hat is here. But same story. Same story with the hat. He looks crazy. He looks insane. But it gets the job done, because when the hat's on, you can't tell. It's just all covered up. It's just all covered up, but it is covered up. Love that Goku just gets bodied by Bulma. I do too. That was always a bit for episode 2. That was one of the first bits, and same thing here. If we want to see without the hat, it's just it's munched on. Straight up got it. But he's got the hat on, so you never know. The straw hat. This so before I continue to the next bit, this is actually one of the first bits that I wrote too. Is Goku has this recurring bit in this episode where he's wearing this hat. In the script, it just says, "What if I put on this cool hat?" And then it said parentheses, "Goku is wearing a cool hat." It wasn't until I got to the edit that I actually decided what I was gonna do. I had considered it being Krillin's like Kuririn hat. I had considered it being just like Ash's hat from Pokemon, just like any classic baseball cap. I had even considered it being one of the you guys know that like the hat that's like, "This is why I fish." It's like the super long text like paragraph. I had considered it being that too. But then I thought, I was like, wait, the straw hat is kind of like good though. And so that's what I went with. And it's bigger, so it covers up more of his head, and that was less work for me ultimately. So I think it all worked out in the end. And then we just have this hard cut to Goku getting flung out of the bathroom. And this is a really easy effect. Let me see if I can't go find it. It's one of these for sure. It's gotta be. Is it this? Nope. Deeper. I really should label these shots. Okay, it's this one. Luffy hat goes hard. So we have a little camera shake. This is actually a manual camera shake. This is the shot of Goku that I used. Just added a little bit of motion blur to him. This is Goku just laying down. He's just a little guy. I actually think that, this is when Goku is laying on Bulma's crotch, which doesn't actually make it into this episode. But this was like the perfect shape and angle for him to be laying at to work for the throwing effect. So that's that. Super, super easy. All I had to do was mask out the door frame so that when he's already moving past it, you don't see him on the top. And then I add the little camera shake. Praise the Lord, we gotta deal with exposed Bulma. No, we are not gonna be. We're not gonna have to deal with exposed Bulma. We're gonna be cutting out a lot of those bits. This was actually kind of a tough shot. Because you see the color of her hair is like flickering in and out. I actually probably could have fixed that. But her hair, that's an animation error, and that's the thing I got to get better about, is fixing some of these. Thank you for keeping Goku on the ground and not getting in bed. Yeah, it had to be done. Some of that stuff doesn't age so well. But I have to do some custom lip flaps. Not custom. I have to do some adjusted lip flaps, and then I have to do this where she's just speaking. This is just a freeze frame, and then the following sequence, she blinks, and then I have to loop this shot of the hair. I had to like find the loop.
Some other spiky-haired monkey man enters your life.
Which it's only like 3 frames. 3, 4. Okay, it's like 4 frames that then just hard cut back to the beginning. But it only lasts for like a second or two in the actual show. And she's talking for a very long time here. So I had to loop it and do all the lip flaps. Same with this. This is actually kind of a difficult shot to do also because Goku doesn't speak here. I have to do his lip flaps and then track it alongside the footage. And I didn't do the smoke. So if you watch the smoke, you can kind of see it just cuts back. And honestly, that's just laziness. That's just laziness. I probably could have done the coffee smoke or steam a little cleaner. And I just didn't. Exposed. You got me. Again, Bulma doesn't speak here. So all of these lip flaps are custom. What is her face? Okay, so she kind of has this like disgusted look on her face, which this could have been her resting like open mouth position, but I just went for the full replacement because I kind of like this like open mouth, half open mouth, because she's like kind of eating, but she's also like, come on. Gunch saves new viewers of Dragon Ball from witnessing 80s approach on women and little boy dongs. Yeah, it's what we're here for. This is just like a speed up. He like takes this bite over the course of 4 frames, which is way faster. But I like the sound effect too. It's an apple biting, which is more aggressive than what it would sound like biting into bread. But same shot, more replacements. This was another really big edit. So in this shot, Goku's jumping on the bed. He's full on little monkey jumping on the bed. So I had to go into Photoshop, completely paint out Goku from the background and just have this single freeze frame of the bed. And again, it's not clean, but it gets the job done. And then we have the shadow, which I don't even know if anybody noticed this, but these are like some of those small details of you have the shadow coming in and then kind of fading out as he's covering it. But so we have boom as he's coming into frame, and then we have this shot, which is just the base like jumping. He's just jumping on the bed. That's what he was doing. But I added some motion blur to it, and then we do the chunk, and then I had to replace all of the lip flaps too. So he's speaking, which is a really weird angle for Goku to be laying at, but I think the effect all in all came out pretty good.
Wow.
Bread is amazing. Thought that was OG. I'm trying my best. This is the knowledge that I have. Is this like I've been working with Premiere and After Effects for a really long time. I've never worked on animated footage before, but like these types of edits and effects are like how I got started in the industry. This is a funny shot because let's see here. Is it while she's... Yeah, so this frame, just this one or two frames, her mouth turns into this shape. Which is an animation error. But if we go to when she whistles at Goku, that's the mouth shape that I use for her whistle. So a super happy little accident, but I was able to repurpose an animation error to fit the needs of the exact same shot, which is really cool. Could not have planned that beforehand. It just happened. But it works. It really works. Imagine an actual dub of the OG Dragon Ball using the same actors as the abridged version. I mean, that'd be sick. That'd be super sick. I am obviously trying to like make the show funnier, but to a certain extent, I am trying to make it like not only an abridged, but also like a redub, because I want to give life to these characters in a completely different way. I want to change plot beats, and I also want to give a lot of credit to those like serious moments too. So while the show is going to be cut down and punched up, I think that the Gunchpot dub is not an inappropriate thing to call it versus the Gunchpot Abridged. At least I hope to get to that point. Just lip flaps for Goku here. And of course, feel free to ask any questions you guys may have about the show, about episode 2, and things about the future that if I can't tell you about, I won't, but I'll let you know. Just lip flaps here and there. Can't wait for some Kuririn and Goku action. Neither can I. I think their dynamic is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited for the content that is going to be able to come from those two outside of the context of the show. Smash cut to Goku on the floor. I drew this little dog treat in Photoshop. It doesn't have any depth. It's really, really shit. Can't wait for Dr. Slump Abridged. That's so based. I read Dr. Slump for the first time last year, early 2025, and I tried to find the anime, but I couldn't find any convenient way to watch it. I watched a couple clips on YouTube, and I was like, damn, that would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun, but Dragon Ball's a lot of fun too. I do hope that somebody does that someday. Is the show going to come out more often and have a schedule? Probably not. I don't think it'll ever have a concrete schedule. As I get more confident, I do want to, and like I better my workflow and I bring more people on the team. I am hoping that cuts down on the time in between episodes, but then the trade-off is that time also might be substituted by making the episodes more detailed, taking longer on the edits just through sheer amount of edits. So it really is hard to put a timeline, but I do hope that episode 3 is going to come out sooner than the wait time between episode 2 and 1. But yeah, he got a treat because he's a good boy and good boys get treats. And then we just simple tracked that to the scene. It just goes out. It's a little wiggly, but so is the rest of the show. We have Bulma. This is just a retiming edit. I did have to have her stop speaking here, and then I had to replace the reflection as well, because you can see she's talking there, and then there's the freeze frame on the reflection. Boom, boom, boom. So we just do a little freeze frame, mask out her face, and we let it go. This just has like a really subtle zoom, as you can see, going to the beginning and the end of this clip, as Goku is just talking about his origins, which is something that I haven't actually like talked about yet, but I liked the idea of Goku knowing somewhat about his own origin. That Gohan told him that he was found in a crater, but neither of them really knew or had the context for that. And I think that's really funny. And that Goku just thinks that whoever his parents are left him for dead, just didn't want him anymore. But he's just happy. He's just a happy kid and doesn't care anyway. Is the show ever going to be canon to the DBZ Abridged by Team 4-Star? No. This is 100% its own thing. I can't stop people from headcanoning that this is a prequel to DBZA, but I'm doing character departures. I'm doing different things from them. None of our voices are going to be direct like rips on theirs. I know a few people have said that Goku sounds like Masako. I hard disagree, but I'm not doing a Masako impression. I'm just doing a high-pitched, raspy teenage boy impression, and then adding a little pitch shift to it. And I think that speaks to just how good Masako's Goku voice is, in that he portrays the character well, not just because of the voice, but his intonation, his cadence, his delivery. And I'm doing the same thing, because we're playing Goku potentially like a kind of the same way, because Goku is a very specific, particular character whose delivery and intonation and tone and just his whole attitude is very much Goku. Like that's just the way the character is. So though I don't think my voice sounds anything like TFS's Goku, I guess I can kind of see how people think they sound similar just because we're both playing Goku. But that's not the intention at all. I remember I once made a shitty abridged of Path to Power. That is something that I maybe want to do down the line. I lived through DBCA's release pacing. They didn't even finish the show. What is it, 40 episodes they put out? 45, 50 episodes over the course of 12 years? Are you kidding me? Well, I guess it's been like 15 years now, so probably closer to like 10 years. But that's a long ass time. And so, though I don't think it's going to be that long, I hope it's not that long. I still can't commit to any timeline. I'd say the similarity is also since Goku is a kid right now. Yeah, I mean, if anything, it would sound like Kid Gohan's, which I also don't think it sounds like Gohan at all. And just because I listen to my voice, I listen to his voice, and we don't sound the same. But when it comes to just the way that Goku speaks, I am trying to copy Goku's inflection. I'm trying to deliver as though I'm Kid Goku. 60 and several 3-parters. That's fair. I didn't think they broke 60, but that is probably just me misremembering. I know they did all the movies too. And there's a lot of movies, or not all the movies, but most of the movies. And those took a lot of time. But yeah, we'll just be going at our own pace, which hopefully for some of these like chill early episodes is going to take less time than later in the series when there's a lot more combat and action and all that other good stuff. Just a nice little linear wipe. Just a classic wipe. No BoJack, I know. This sucked. I'm going to be so for real. This sucked because of this light streak in the top right. So this whole shot is this a freeze frame? Turn off that freeze frame. No. That's moving. So, and it's because of the way that it, like what the effect is, there's not really any way to loop it. So I had to freeze frame this shot and zoom in to try to not make it as obvious as possible. Because here, as you can see, it's moving. And it looks very natural. It looks like a real light streak. But I could not do anything about it because I was going to have Goku speaking out loud here, but I couldn't do the lip flaps and like loop the footage and work on the footage in a way that looked good because of these light streaks. You think when you get to the 23rd martial art tournament arc, you will make Goku voice a little deeper. Yeah, when Goku gets a little bit older, we're going to change the voice a little bit. For sure. I haven't decided fully what I'm going to do yet. That's still a ways down the line. I'm still going to play Goku. But I don't know if I'm going to do like what I do for my adult Goku, which is just, hey, it's me, Goku, just with that higher inflection, or if I'm still going to do like the raspy, puberty-addled Goku of like, I'm still doing the Kid Goku voice, but without the pitch shift of like, all right, we're gonna Piccolo, I'm gonna beat you. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get there. You should have censored naked Goku by giving him underwear. That would have been really funny. Somebody had said that I should have just done a Dragon Ball, but that bit's played. I wanted to, and it doesn't need to be a bit. Like I think it's fine just being the Shenron, but like Bardock's voice. Just immediate smash cut. We see Goku for the first time in years, and he says, "Krillin, it's me, Goku." Like the one scene of outside Bulma's house with the rain. Yeah. Oh, I'd like to make use of some of those like post shots, but I just don't know what I could do with them. Similar story here. I had to loop her brushing her hair and redo some of the lips. Goku not talking here was pretty easy. Had to add in the drips for the coffee. Had to add in Bulma's lip flaps here. And then this bit is really funny to me. So it's at the 6:52 mark, or 6:51 mark, that she starts pouring her coffee. And she's pouring her coffee for a solid 11 seconds. We're at the 7:1 mark. And so the bit was just going to be that she's been pouring her coffee the whole time, and that was going to be the bit. But I did go in and I did the little animation. It looks really bad, but it's funny. I think it really just sells that she's just not paying attention, and we just have a little coffee spillover. It even gets on her hand a little bit, probably burns the shit out of her hand. But hey, you know what? It's funny. We have Goku running at the screen. We have picking up Turtle. This whole bit, too, was going to be longer. I was going to have him run out, actually crush the rock, and he was going to say, I am Goku the Rock Squisher. All rocks must fear my strong yet moist hands. But I thought it was paced better to just go straight into the turtle. The beginning of Broly. Yeah, okay, I got you. Bulma still ain't caring even after burning her hand. No, she's tough. She's tough. And then we have our introduction of Turtle, who some people, I've gotten some complaints that Turtle doesn't sound like Turtle from TFS or the dub. And to that I say, yeah. This is a different character than those versions of the character. This is a much more, in my opinion, interesting version of the character, where he's not just this Eeyore type character, this sad sack that hangs around Roshi's Island because we need to have a Turtle Hermit on the Turtle Hermit Island. He's his own character. He's got his own things going on. And of course played by the extremely talented Coffin Jockey, who you might recognize from many series on the internet, such as Naruto Abridged, SAO Abridged, what's the Frieren? He's in that. He's in everything. It's funny you say that because he also plays Sonic in the mashed Sonic animation series. So super talented dude. Super happy to have him on the team, and he absolutely kills it as Turtle, kind of doing this Stampers Hattie Haddington impression, which of course, as we've all heard in the episode, but
oh hey you, at least buy me dinner first.
Is very good. It's very, very good, and it is really motivating the direction that Turtle is going as a character. We have him drop Turtle here. We just got to do some lip flaps on the Turt. Same thing with Goku here. These are all just lip flaps. You guys know the deal. Got to replace lips all the time. This was a funny gag. This is one of my favorite moments in the episode. Just Goku thinking that the turtle is Bulma, and her being so offended by that she doesn't know how to process it. Used this shot of Turtle a lot. I got pretty used to the lip flaps on it. Punched in a little there. This was funny. Just a loop. Just a little loop of the turtle drank in that water there. And then this was just... Let me see if I can't isolate this audio.
Recording?
Can I turn the pitch shift off? I'm gonna copy this because I think it's good for you guys to hear this without the effects and the things. So let's isolate. Boom. And we'll just bring that back to 100, and we will solo this audio layer. So this was the drinking water. Oh, whoops. Of course. And that turned into unmute. I think it's very funny. Turtle made a water drinking remix. Just the lip smacks. Very good. Bucket. I didn't even really do anything with this one. I didn't even have to replace the lip flaps. I just kind of lingered on this no dialogue, looped it. Boom, boom, boom. I actually have a couple of dubs of DP clips where I see stock cartoon sound effects and music as the replacements. Like slipping on the banana peel, a little spring boing. This is all just a lot of dialogue. Nothing crazy from the edits on any of these. I did this bit twice because I thought it was nice. Just her blinking and then... Because I think she does just blink here, or she only keeps her eyes closed for a second. But I like her talking with her eyes closed because it just shows her attitude. My severest apologies. His turns of phrase are very funny, and I'm just very excited to continue to work on the turtle dialogue. I also, another bit that I considered doing here, but I couldn't really work it in, was having a shot of the map that just says, like, that's just like a really poor, like, crayon drawing of the map that says, like, you're fucked. But that one got cut. That one got cut. Couldn't make it work. Goku talking, lip flaps, all the things. Oh, I guess I did. I skipped this where we did this Bulma crazy eyes. Yeah, that was fun. Just a simple little eye edit, redraw type beat, and then we have this this stock PNG of a pencil and a clipboard. Slide in the frame. I have them come in at different paces and then just hard cut. But that wasn't too bad. I played with a couple different looks for her and a couple different like pupil sizes and directions, which I actually, in retrospect, I could have had them like come down as she's looking at the clipboard, perhaps. But I do think that this face was the best for her disgust and shock. I just had an idea of you guys redoing the first 2 episodes, but all the VAs, they sound just don't care and are bored. I actually do maybe want to redo episode 1 once we get through the rest of this season, just for the consistency of it all, because it is a stark quality difference in the 2. And I'd like to do it without the background, and I'd like to use the Seed of Might footage, and a big thing that we're working on right now is getting Bulma a new mic. So just having everybody's audio quality be consistent, have everybody's like voice acting be top of their game for a re-release of the first episode would be a lot of fun. Fucking love how Goku just doesn't go to but yeah. And that's gonna be relevant. Like as we change plot points in the abridged version, they're gonna have consequences down the line. It's like a Walking Dead or choose your own adventure game. Telltale type beat. This shot, Bulma's talking and like cross her arms. She does a bunch of stuff, but I didn't want her to do that. I just wanted her to stand still. So I just cut the frame in half, and I freeze frame and loop Bulma, and then have Goku and Turtle talking on the other side. And I do the exact same thing on this shot, where Bulma is actually going like, "Where's you crazy kids?" But I just wanted her to stand there with her arms crossed as they run into the distance. And then she's bored. This was a pretty simple tracking lip flap replacement because she's talking. She's talking to herself in those shots. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I was going the wrong way. Let's get here. Makes me excited for the Roshi episodes now that Goku is essentially fabricating this story. Is 1080p upscale? I used the Seed of Might footage, and I actually uploaded it in 4K. Because the footage can upscale to 4K. It is still the original 480, but it is scalable because of the quality and size of the footage. I think you replaced the music and sound effects, right? I mean, you could have removed the vocal track. Yeah, I removed all the music and sound. Everything, which we can definitely go over. But yeah, all of the sound effects, everything we redid. I have a Dragon Ball sound library that I've been collecting, and music is actually one of the hardest parts of the show, in my opinion, or just for me, because the original Dragon Ball score is like really unique, really iconic, and is just a really particular sound. So I have been using, and I am worried about copyright. I'm already pushing it with the copyright stuff, so I don't want to use any music from the original Dragon Ball score unless I really think that it's important to the plot that I do. So I am using a bunch of other music by the composer of Dragon Ball from his other works, because they do sound somewhat similar, but aren't gonna get as immediately flagged. Doraemon and like Kamen Rider and Gamera stuff specifically from like the 70s, all really, really still hit that tone and have that same sort of composition to them that sounds really good and sounds really similar. Not as much jaw harp as I'd like, but I've considered buying a jaw harp just so that I can do my own fills. Rip the Dragon Ball OST. It's really good. It's probably not going to be something that I avoid entirely forever, but it is something that I'm just trying to be really cautious of in the beginning because I'm worried about the show getting taken down, like just getting started here. Paid homage to one of the poses that Bulma did as Goku left the thumbnail art. Yes, true. The the Bruce OST is good. It's something that I'll have to play around with in the future. It's not something that I'm against the idea of completely, but I'm just out of an abundance of caution here at the beginning. I am trying to avoid it. But this shot was really easy. I just had to take a freeze frame of Bulma's mouth and comp it over. Pretty simple. Another bit that I considered was replacing this logo. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I considered making it a Tesla because I thought it'd be really funny, and there's a little inside joke that we're going to get into later in the series. But I didn't like the idea of like hard changing what it was, because Bulma made all of her vehicles, right? So I didn't want to take that away from her. I did consider making it the Capsule Corp logo, just to then even sell it further, but I opted to just leave it. I just opted to leave it. I didn't think it needed to be touched. We need to use someone who can cover the original. Oh my god, that'd be sick. I know a lot of like music producers, and I have a lot of friends in bands and like connections like that, but none with like that sort of capacity or free time, because that I would also feel bad for not paying anybody doing something to that extent. Having the series and then transitioning to TFS Dragon Ball is going to be a treat. I as I've said, this is not a prequel to DBCA, but it would be. I do think that it would be, as you said, it would be a treat to have this series in its entirety, and then still be able to go watch TFSs, though things are different, and there's not going to be a bunch of character consistency, especially when we get to like Demon King Piccolo and beyond. Just having that like the fan-made version of Dragon Ball is really cool, and then even super beyond that with the Kai games. Kind of surprised you want to commit to changing a lot for an abridged. Well, so that was my big thing with this show to begin with, is that Dragon Ball is not only very funny, but it is iconic. It's a told story, and for me, there wasn't a whole lot of reason to go back and retell this story and try to punch up a show that's already very funny if I'm not going to do my full own take on it. So I want to do like heavy narrative swings that are unexpected and are also an additional incentive to go watch the original show, because I am going to depart from the original narrative, and some of those things are going to affect how people see some of these characters in these moments. And I would very much implore anybody who hasn't seen the original Dragon Ball to go and watch it. And I would even say watch it alongside this show to see those comparisons and see what we're doing different, and see and let me know if you agree with our character choices or not, or with our plot changes or not. Bunny Bulma is there's not a whole lot I can do about Bunny Bulma. She exists in the show. So I do have to. We have to work with that. I can't reanimate multiple episodes where she's just in this bunny suit. But we're gonna be making some jokes. We're gonna be playing around with it, making light of it in the best way that we can. Let me just try to catch up. Can't wait to binge it all. I'm hyped to be able to watch DBCA, DBCA, DBGTA, and DBSA in one sitting. It is a weird vibe. And that's why we're changing a lot of the pervy stuff in this show. Is that I am trying to take a step back from that content. But again, with the bunny suit specifically, there's just not a whole lot that you can do outside of address it and then move on. And that's kind of what my plan is. I am still going to play it off as a joke because it is a comedy series, and I don't want to linger on this uncomfortable thing for too terribly long. But it is just going to be one of those things where we address it, we make a joke, and then we move on having the explanation. And as soon as she's not wearing it anymore, it's fine. Pressing on further in the edits here. Just some lip flaps. We linger on this shot for a very long time. Bulma keeps driving, and we fade into the Pilaf gang. This shot, I needed to do some extra finagling on. This is the original. You probably can't even tell, but the background is a replacement because I needed to cut them out entirely to be able to edit Mai's lip flaps. And then, so I cut her out completely, readjusted some of her lip flaps, and then put the background back. Do you stabilize shots since the camera was always shaking? Yes. A lot of the shots I do stabilize, but some of them I don't. And that is intentional. I think that there is like a charm to the wobbliness of OG Dragon Ball and early Z. And it's very wobbly. Like, just people speaking, period, will cause the entire frame to wiggle. And I don't want to lose that completely. But there are shots where it's so bad that it has to be stabilized. And it also makes the edits easier. So on shots when I don't have to do any editing, normally I'll just leave it be. But on shots where I have to do a lot of lip replacements and it's very clear that I'm doing lip replacements, I will stabilize them because it just makes the edit look better. We use all this footage. This is the exact same shot, just with Shu talking instead of Mai. We land. I worked with the idea of putting a billboard back here because we're on Spaghetti Mountain. But I just couldn't. I couldn't make it look good. It looked super unnatural, which like could have also been funny. But this shot is a zooming shot, and I couldn't get it to track into the shot good. And that I just decided to leave it at that. I could have probably tracked it by hand, but it would have just been a lot of work for a just okay bit. From what I can tell, they probably bumped the camera because they have to switch cells. So 100%. I think there was a lot of that going on. But that's again, I think that's part of the charm of this series is like Shu is just wiggling a little bit, like Shu is just shaking, and you can see a bunch of the frame jittering, and it's just, and like this is basically a static shot. And I didn't stabilize this one because I think it looks fine. Same thing here. I just posted this clip on YouTube Shorts and TikTok today. Nothing really special with any of these edits till we get to this point, which is where we get our first listen to Perry Hall, who's the voice of Oolong, and Politichu, who's the voice of Chi-Chi, who are voicing these wolves. The third wolf is just stock wolf sounds. But we have this shot, which is this shot. But I have the wolf eyes fade in, little just like minor shift, and then a fade out. And then it fades back in, and then frame cut to the wolves stepping out of the shadows. The fact this series was made, judging by the BTS, I'm shocked this was made. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of work, but this shit is just fun, and I have the time to do it. Big freeze frame. Again, I didn't affect the wobbliness of this at all. I didn't stabilize the shot because just I kind of like it. I just think that's just what Dragon Ball looks like. And then we hard cut to this little shot. And then we have this shot of the plane taking off. But then the rest of this is just either in reverse, like this shot is, flipped the other way, and that's it. And that is broken down episode 2 of Dragon Ball Abridged. I did make a dub of DBZ scene where Goku picks soda over beer, but I changed the context from that to Goku picking water over soda. They just got attacked. So that could have also been the ending, but I really like the joke that Shu is related to one of the wolves that's there. Not that all dogs have to be related, but I think it's really funny. I just think it's really funny that his cousin got him off the hook because they're all dogs. And then, yeah, like I said, all of these shots are the same shots from the beginning, but I flipped them the other way. I'm really excited for the dynamic of the Pilaf gang to evolve over the course of the season. They're a really interesting bunch, and I think next episode 3 is going to be the last we're going to see of the Pilaf gang for a little bit. So I have some stuff I plan to do with them as additional, like, behind the, like, deleted scenes / like side content stuff that I want to do with the Pilaf gang, because I don't want to go however many episodes without them because they're just not really relevant for a couple of episodes. I want them to still be around and in our collective conscious. But that's it. That's all I got. Do you guys have any other questions? Otherwise, I think I'm perfectly happy to call this. But if you guys have any questions about the behind the scenes, the script writing process, the editing, I'd be happy to answer them. But I'm very, very excited to start working on episode 3. And like I said, we're starting. I've already recorded some dialogue for episode 3. And we're going to be doing another recording session tomorrow with Roshi, which I'm very excited for. I actually have a clip of his audition in our Discord in the DBA announcements channel from a couple of months ago, where I showcased his Kamehameha because I had all of the people that auditioned for Roshi do a Kamehameha because that's a really big part of Roshi's introduction the next time we see him. And it's so good. So I highly recommend everybody join our Discord, hang out with the community, and also check out some of those behind the scenes stuff that I'm always trying to post. The Bjork. I've been loving the new series. Thank you so much. Again, everybody's putting a lot of work into it. Also, shouts out to the Banana Man who's been here in the chat the entire time, who did the thumbnail art for episode 2, as well as has gone back and helped me do some thumbnail art for episode 1 as well. Very dope. I love having custom artwork for this series. Also, Bipsy, the voice of Mai, they did our Shenron logo, and is just so sick. Big fan of that. Are you still doing auditions for roles? We are not doing auditions anymore. I cast the entire season 1, and I'm not sure I'm going to do auditions again. I did not. It was a challenging experience. It was a trying experience nonetheless. How do you plan on tackling launch? I don't know if I can speak to how I plan to tackle launch. I will say what I'm not going to do is the bit that I get pitched a lot is launch should just sound like a man. This should just be the gruff, deep voice. I promise there is going to be a bit attached to launch, but it's not going to be that. I have an idea for a joke in the Abridged series. Basically, it's just Goku English reading right to left, and then Bulma asks if Goku's Arab, and then Goku says, Arabia? Well, Japan does it too. episode, even Japan. I don't know. I guess I have established that this does take place in America. I just don't think too much about that. Yes, Dr. Girlfriend is the that's the pitch that I get a lot. Again, I have an idea that I think is very good. I will say that a bit that I did consider that I'm also not going to do was cutting Launch from the show completely. And I have talked about this a little bit, that at one point in my planning, I was thinking, how could we do it? Brendan, thank you for the subscribe on YouTube as well. Would be to completely remove Launch from the show. Paint her out of all of the scenes that she's in. Just get rid of her entirely, playing on the fact that she's already basically not a character in the series as is. But that would be an ungodly amount of work, and I think there are opportunities for her to have some good bits and be a nice foil for the Roshi household, the Kame household. I'm just hyped for more bald people. Yep, we're still a good 10 episodes away from Krillin's introduction, 11, maybe, no, 9 even, away from Krillin's introduction, but I have an idea. What if Dragon Ball, but everyone is painted out? Honestly, just beautiful artwork, just sprawling fantasy, like Chinese-inspired, Japanese-inspired vistas. I'd watch it with lo-fi beats in the background. But hey, yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Guys, I appreciate you so much for coming in and hanging out with me. Saturn Sonic fan, Banana fan, Bjork, Christian. Let me go back up. I want to get everybody. I have to. Spacers for sure for the Twitch follow and the YouTube subscribe. Cameron and Striker. Yeah, saw you too. And Crixon and Black Mage Novacore. You guys are all so dope. I really appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me. Spacers as well for the big super chat. That shit is crazy. You do not need to send me money. I am doing this out of the fun that I get from doing it. But I might be back later this week with another just like gaming stream. I do be gaming sometimes. But it really just depends on how I'm feeling. And this is a busy week for me. So otherwise, I'll be back next week with probably some Sparking Zero, maybe some more Earthbound and the like. But keep an eye out for more Dragon Ball Abridged, because I am always posting. Mad Hatter, thank you for subscribing as well. Oh my goodness. That I'll be posting behind the scenes looks, clips, etc. To TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and the Discord. So thank you all again for joining me on this very special episode of Behind the Balls. And of course,